Hold on. All right, hold on. Okay, we're there. Okay, let's see. I'm in desperate need of a haircut, but what else is new? Okay, let me get situated here. I'm gonna invite my guest. Sent over. We're gonna have a nice little chat. On chatting with the Natty. And then I'm gonna do this. Once you see that button, I want you to click that button. And then I want you to... Hey, that was easy.
How's it going, man?
How you doing, man?
That was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
How many weeks out are you?
22. I'm just beginning. I'm smooth sailing right now.
You keep a lean composition. You don't really bulk too big.
Well, no, when I started with Leroy, it was like three years ago. I was 235. So I just wanted to get less fat. Um, had no goals of doing anything like this. Um, and then sort of like spring this year, I got pretty lean and I'd been in a deficit for like almost 3 years, but I felt amazing. Never kind of slipped off. So I texted Leroy and I was like, honestly, man, I'm down. And he's like, really? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Uh, so we discussed, starting in the fall. Um, yeah, it was honestly been a smooth transition. Like, I mean, I've dropped maybe 300 calories since starting. It doesn't feel difficult in any way. Obviously, I know 22 weeks out, talk to me in 12, 15 weeks. But yeah, like cardio even, I'm doing like only four 20-minute sessions.
Okay.
It's like, yeah.
So you're saying that you started out with Leroy as a lifestyle client,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you transitioned into bodybuilding?
Yeah, I had no interest on getting on stage in either, the shorts or the man thong, whatever. I was like, no way, that's not for me. Um, but actually, a friend of mine, she did like bikini competitions, and she kind of was the one to push me in the direction. And honestly, I kind of just wish I would started this earlier. I mean, I like the structure, I like the goals. I'm just very regimented, so I feel like bodybuilding, this type of thing, is just perfect for me.
Excuse the audio.
All good, man.
All right, so regimented, you like the structure, you like the goals. How many times have you competed?
Never, never,
Never? Okay,
no,
so this is
yeah,
your first
yeah.
timer.
Uh, I did
22 weeks
powerlift.
out.
Yeah, I did powerlifting in university. Just because you could, just ego lift, throw big weight around, eat McDonald's, and it didn't matter. So I've always had a good strength base. But yeah, like I said, I had no interest in doing it. I was like, not for me. And then
How?
when I went and saw a show,
Uh-huh.
like I went and watched one of Leroy's shows, and I was like, okay, yeah, I could do this. This is fun. I like this.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
28. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what's the show that you're doing?
OCB in Syracuse, the Naturals.
Okay. Okay. You're in
Yeah.
New York?
Yes. Well, no, I'm based out of Belleville, like about 2 hours east of Toronto.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So when Leroy and I were discussing shows, I kind of was just like, I don't care where I go. I don't care. Like if you think I should do the one in Kitchener or Toronto, Coburg, whatever. So we put Syracuse in, and I didn't really ask why. He was just like, I'm taking a bunch of athletes there. It's a great show, and I was just like, you know what you're doing, so I'm gonna listen to you.
Yeah. Leroy does know what he's doing.
Oh yeah,
I think it's so cool how so like Leroy, he's a great coach, so I've heard, and then Leroy is coached by one of the best coaches in the game, Cliff Wilson.
yeah, yeah,
And I think that's fascinating because even Cliff Wilson has a coach, and it just goes into like that whole. There's something to me fascinating about this sport of natural bodybuilding where the coaches have coaches, and there's always like there's a community of individuals who are mentoring
yeah,
like the next
generation, or if you
Yeah,
will,
the next
or yeah,
generation,
yeah,
something like that. I just find the whole thing fascinating, and I personally think that's what drew me to the story aspect of the sport. Because if you think of other sports, and like this is just like my perspective on the way that sports stories like are presented in Hollywood. If you're looking at a team, you've got the star athlete like the quarterback or the running back or like the power forward in basketball, right? And then the entire storyline revolves around that star athlete, including the coach. So the
yeah,
coach might be like super inspirational and wise and really knows how to assess the situation and inspire the team. But we're seeing the entire experience of the story through the star athlete's perspective.
yeah,
Whereas with natural bodybuilding, you're not only are you the main character, the player who's competing and going to step on stage, but you also have an opportunity to coach and mentor and guide other athletes who have the same aspirations as you
yeah.
simultaneously.
Well, I didn't really know that even Leroy had a coach. I just kind of just assumed that if you're a coach, you're good to go. You know what you're doing.
Right.
But I mean, like back to comparing it to other sports. I mean, Tiger Woods has a coach. I mean, even at the best of the best, you have a coach because you're going to see the flaws and areas of improvement in other athletes. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It's not always as easy to see it in yourself, even if you have 10, 15 years experience.
Yeah, I think that the best athletes in the world all have not even just a coach, but a team. The best
Yeah.
athletes in the world have teams around them. I think about LeBron James and that $1 million protocol that we hear about, where like he spends like $1 million on his body to
Yep.
stay competitive at the highest level in basketball. And I think about that in relation to natural bodybuilding and the fact that there is no athlete in this sport who actually has that opportunity to spend $1 million on their natural bodybuilding protocol. And what would that look like? What would that yield? You know?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think like, if the money, was there for natural bodybuilding, I think a lot of it would be going into, repairing yourself, not so much like, excess amount of, supplements or things like that, but, like daily massage work or fascia work or, not just having like a strength coach or a bodybuilding coach, but like a dietitian, um,
Let me
being able
ask.
to
Hmm.
being able to spend money on like quality ingredients. I feel like that's a big thing that I've noticed, only a few weeks in. Um, I mean, I really enjoy food. I do cooking videos. I love going out for food, but my grocery bill, I'm even just noticing, even though I'm not eating more calories, if anything, I'm eating less calories, but now that I'm so much more focused on the macronutrients or
Hmm.
micronutrients, so like getting enough fiber in, getting enough vitamins in, whereas before it was a bit more kind of if it fits your macros.
Hmm.
So I think, if you had that unlimited budget per se, being able to get like organic everything, I would love to just not have to buy, tubes of meat from Walmart. That would be great. But I'm on a budget.
Right.
Um, yeah.
So, what do you think? Let's say there's a hypothetical scenario which we like to play with. There is a natural athlete in this sport who actually has $1 million to spend on their natural bodybuilding protocol. What do you think that would yield? What kind of results would that present on stage?
I think, I don't know if it would have, well, first of all, being first time in the sport, my insight on this may not be the best. Um,
We're just
I
talking
think,
here.
yeah, I think you would yield much more longevity in the sport. I don't know if like, say me and you were the exact same build in every facet of the word, and you had a million and I didn't, and we went on stage in a year, do I think that like that person would like blow the other person out of the water? No. Would they maybe be a bit more conditioned? I think maybe, but I think longevity would carry for them more.
Mm,
Because I mean, it's an expensive sport, and I mean, most people who are doing natural bodybuilding have other jobs. Um, Unless you're a coach and that's your job. Um, so I think the money part would carry it more into longevity rather than direct stage presence.
I think that makes sense. I think that's a very good answer. How do we feel about the fact that natural bodybuilding, to be a professional natural bodybuilder, does require you to work a second or a job? It requires you to work a job, or coaching is your job. How do we feel about that?
I mean, I think it's a battle you've chosen to make. So, I do hear sometimes people complaining about, being a bodybuilder, oh, it's hard. I have to work. It's what, I have to be at this other job for X amount of hours a day. I'm like, that's your problem. Like I work, 50, 55 hours a week, but I like having this thing to do after. Um, uh, so what was the original question again?
How do we feel about the fact that natural bodybuilders have to have a job, or coaching is their job in order to make income,
I
compared to
think,
compared to other athletes in different sports who make millions of dollars being professionals?
I just think I don't think it's something to complain about. I know that sometimes people do. I think if you like it enough, you're going to do it while having a job. And I mean, most of these athletes that are pro now, they didn't just become pro out of high school. I mean, sure, some of them did, but a lot of these people were doing their sports and training while having a job. Um, Whereas I think with even just now, how we're doing this over live, how there is, I think, substantial more opportunities for athletes to make money outside of a 9 to 5. And it doesn't have to be coaching, so doing like content creation or selling posing packages or doing anything outside of, I guess, a regular hourly or salary job. I think there is a lot of opportunities that people kind of don't take the shot on.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't know, man. I just I just been thinking about other sports and the type of revenue that comes into other sports and the type of salary that athletes in different sports have. I just been thinking about it, man.
Well, I mean, something that I think about in relation to the salary and the money part of it, um, it's like watching like Canadian football versus American football. I mean, there's more money in American football, so there's more raw, there's more everything, it's more exciting.
Mm.
Realistically, it's not that much different. I mean, there's downs, there's tackles, there's plays.
I
It
didn't
comes
even
down to
know
who.
that Canadian had football.
Yeah, I mean, we have like the CFL. Nobody
Never
watches
heard
it.
of it.
Nobody watches it. We have like Toronto as a team. Nobody goes to games.
Nobody goes to
Every
games.
Nobody goes to games. I mean, like sure, some do, but like I watch football. I don't watch CFL. I watch the Vikings. Um, so I think comparing like for example like natural bodybuilding to like enhanced. I mean, if you look at it on paper, I mean, there's a reason why people want to go watch like these 300-pound roided out freaks because
Mm-hmm.
they're massive, they're freakish to look at. It's
Mm-hmm.
entertaining to them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas someone who doesn't bodybuild and looks at natural bodybuilding, they're like, why would I watch smaller people versus larger people? So I think once people understand that getting to the level for even for yourself, for example, being natural in the size that you are is an astonishing feat. I just don't think that people realize how difficult it is to become a natural bodybuilder in the sense of not using gear or other supplements. And I think that like right now people don't understand it, but the way that the health and fitness kind of world is growing, I think that
I don't think that I'm just putting myself in the perspective of an audience member. I don't think the difficulty of a feat is enough to make me want to watch the fact that someone achieved that feat. It'd be like, um, it'd be like walking 3,000 miles, right?
yeah.
That's a difficult feat. But am I going to watch this person walk all 3,000 miles?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah. But if we infuse it with some stakes, and check this out. So if we infuse it with some stakes where there is a group of 50 kids, all taken from each state of America, and the one person who finishes walking last, the last kid walking, gets an unprecedented amount of money and one wish granted by the American government that, like, any wish that they can come up with, they get. But all the other kids, all the other like 49 kids that were walking, the minute that they drop, they get shot and killed. And
There's a movie about that out right
isn't
now.
there?
Yeah,
Isn't there a
yeah,
movie about that? Isn't there a movie
yeah.
about that?
Yeah.
Same feat. It's the same feat. Only for one, there's a movie about, and people are watching it. There's a book about it. People are reading it. And on the other side, there's no stakes, and it's just a person walking. You get what I'm saying
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, I'll definitely put it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like just because natural bodybuilding, the feat itself, we get it, but it's boring. Like we can both agree that it's boring.
It is,
That
yeah.
doesn't limit us from being able to sell it as if it's exciting.
Fair. Okay, so I think like maybe like repositioning what people view and kind of like what the excitement out of it. Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, and we don't have to create stakes of like whoever loses dies, but
No, no.
we can create stakes that are grounded in excitement and tension and drama and theatrics. You know,
And how would you present that? Like in terms of like making, perfect. If you were to like, change natural bodybuilding, make it more exciting, get people to watch it more, what are some ideas you'd have for that?
I would dramatize it. I would put the stakes for honestly the fate of the world. I would suggest that if natural bodybuilding doesn't succeed, then humanity will fall into ruin and become obsessed with drugs, enhancements, augmentations, AI, and everything that does not represent natural human potential. And
Okay.
I would place the athletes within the sport of natural bodybuilding as beacons of hope that represent different backgrounds, origins, and regions of the world who are fighting for this cause to save humanity from its own ruin.
Okay, so not just making it specifically about the sport, but the added benefits of getting into the world of bodybuilding, like becoming a better person, not like overall, but physically, mentally. Um, because there is that, I guess, concern that people aren't taking their health serious enough. They're taking shortcuts to get to, the fitness level they want to be, whether it be Ozempic or steroids or, fat burners. When realistically, as you've seen, all it takes is a whole food diet, 10K steps a day, and,
So
you know,
my observation is, and I'm just gonna like tell it like I see it. I'm concerned about humanity just getting soft with convenience and ease and a lack of effort. And what are we going to be able to produce as a species if the entire race is just being conditioned to think, oh, I'll just take this drug that will make me look aesthetically pleasing, or I'll just take this surgery that'll make my face look better. I'm not working on myself internally at all. There's no growth. There is no progress on the inside. There's just augmentations on the outside. And what does that produce so far as like conscious sentient beings?
well, I mean, shout out to Natty Gaines. Like I was just gonna kind of mention how, you know, I forget the actual term. So I mean, if you know what I'm talking about, stop me. You
Sure.
know, soft times make hard men make hard times, and it's like that cycle of like,
I think Sam just said it. Weak men create hard times.
yeah, yeah. So like right now, I feel like we're in that easy time. Like everything's easy. You want to lose weight, just eat less calories, but you're eating terrible calories. Or if you want to get jacked, you can just take, Tren. Uh, um, works hard. Just say that you're having like, personal problems, and you can get a month off of work. There's no, I don't know. I feel like people aren't taking challenges as seriously anymore. If there's like, oh, if I could do, 3 months of hard work to get to the body that I want, or I could do a month of like half-assed work and take something. 90% of the world right now is going to take that route.
And that route will also create rewards. Like there's also a feedback loop. So if you take steroids and you pick the faster route, it will get you more attention on social media. You will have access to potentially higher revenue through having a bigger following. You get more recognition if you were to compete as a bodybuilder, et cetera, et cetera. So there is more incentive to pick easier routes,
I mean,
which sucks.
if you look at like TikTok and Instagram, and like, these influencers that are coming up, they're like 18, 19 years old, and they're 240 lean. And it's like, that's also just, I think, also setting just a further bad example for, 13, 14-year-old kids who want to get into bodybuilding. And they're like, they're looking at the trend twins. They're like, I want to be, 240 pounds and jacked when I'm 19, 20 years old. Instead of having the goal of like look a natural bodybuilder at 2021, still very decent size, very muscular conditioned, but they're like, okay, that's going to take a long time, and I'm not going to look like those guys for 12 years. But it's like anything worth really having is going to take a long time. Like one of the things I noticed when I started, as I never cared about like the fat, protein, and carbs. I just had my calorie goal, and I try and hit my protein, but the other two, I don't even care. Like Leroy set it out for me. He gave me the tools to use it, but I just was like, if it fits your macros, I'm doing it. And I lost weight. I got lean. I got muscular, but I felt like shit. Excuse my French. I just felt terrible. Like I was just fatigued all day. The gym performance was like hit or miss. I'd have great weeks, but then some bad weeks. I was kind of like, I'm hitting my calories, I'm hitting my protein, I'm sleeping well. What's going on? And then when I kind of, I was like, Leroy, I'm not maybe feeling about it, whatever. And he's like, well, are you, following the other goals? And once I kind of put more time, and it take way more time. Like, it wasn't just like eat some food, make sure it's in my calories. It's like, I'm now making sure I hit my carbs, I hit my fats, my protein. It takes way longer. I'm spending way more money, but I feel freaking incredible. I feel amazing. My gym performance is amazing. My recovery time is amazing. So yeah, I'm putting in way more work that's slow and tedious and it sucks. But like, it's proof is in the
Yeah,
pudding. Like I
yeah,
feel incredible.
yeah, yeah. I hear you, man. I hear you. We just got to get the message out. Just got to get
Well,
the
like
message out.
where people out, I'm sure you've got it too. When like maybe old friends or high school friends reaching out when I don't know when you started, your bodybuilding, but I'm sure that there was probably a time where there was a drastic change. And people reach out, how you do it, or like what's some
Something,
advice.
yeah,
And it's like, I was that person at one point. I'm reaching out to fit guys when I'm fat, and I'm like, hey man, how do I do it? And there's how to do it. Like when someone reaches out or asks, it's like, what to do. You got to eat less,
right.
eat better, and work out.
Here's the thing. Sam said something that I wanna respond to.
Oh,
Natural
of course.
bodybuilding is maximizing all aspects of human potential. My personal goal in life is to, if we're looking at the incentives that create ease and convenience, so far as steroids, so far as augmentation, so far as cheating, there's an incentive to cheat.
Oh yeah.
Period.
Oh
Like
yeah.
you get money, you get fame, you get recognition if you take the easy route, right?
Yeah.
So if we have incentives for that, my life purpose is to create incentives for people to prioritize growth over quick fix solutions. That is my life purpose. The incentives that I would like to suggest is you will have a fuller and more stimulating experience of life if you prioritize maximizing your own human potential. But that takes community. That takes reinforcement of the people who are around you. And that's what the Natty King Project is all about.
Well, I mean, kind of with the growth aspect, when you kind of really dive into the bodybuilding and, all those things, I feel like it really does carry over in other aspects of your life. Because if you're willing to, take the time to do the hard route for your body, when you're at your job, whatever it might be, it's like I could do this one task that will scathe me by and I'll be fine. But even now, I'm noticing in my job, I'm noticing, there's moments where I could take that extra step to prepare myself better for the future. And it's like, I probably should do that. There's a bit,
Absolutely.
so I think it carries over, and then like into personal life. So I feel like, to your point, incentivizing the growth. It's not just about growing as a bodybuilder and your physique, but it carries over in other aspects. You're a bit more mentally strong. Um, yeah, I think incentivizing that is not just growing your body, but it grows your mind, and you can grow your career, you can grow your social life, your relationships, if you start to take the harder routes in life.
Yeah. And honestly, when Arnold first kind of burst on the scene with pumping iron and steroids weren't considered like a mainstream aspect of the sport of bodybuilding and fitness in general, what Arnold did was he actually, and hold on a sec, I'm actually going to bring, you don't mind if I bring some,
Oh yeah,
some
please
Natty
do.
King individuals on, right?
Hell yeah.
Uh, yeah. So what up, brother? Hey,
What up,
hey,
bro? What's
hey.
up, boys?
What's up? What's up?
What's going on?
It's a party now.
Wow.
But yeah, I was saying like when pumping iron first came out and it was like really popular and it became mainstream, people didn't know that steroids were a part of that bodybuilding sport. So they just got in the gym and they were actually able to promote proper health and wellness because they're looking at Arnold and thinking, oh, this guy's so cool. And he's just working out. They're not showing the steroids. Fast forward 40, 50 years, and now everyone knows that the top bodybuilders are taking steroids. So we've actually diluted the sport and what it was supposed to be.
But I mean, to that point, um, would it not be similar then to like kind of athletes now who are on gear or on steroids promoting health and wellness and creating a better body, but not being open about their steroid use? Like setting like a unrealistic goal for people. I want to look like that, but they don't know that person's doing steroids.
To your point, I'm
They're,
going to add something. I think it's not really feasible to say that because they're trying to emphasize every part but the steroids. Like you can
okay,
still,
okay,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah. Like they're trying not to glorify the steroids, but more so
right.
just
It's like they
yeah,
don't need
okay,
to
okay.
mention it because it is the discipline, it is the routine, it is what you're putting in your body food wise, sleep wise, etc. that is actually getting you 90% of the way there. So why even emphasize that small part in a
Fair,
sense?
okay, that's a good point. Yeah.
Let's take it back for a second. I got a question for you guys. We agree that Rocky is one of the greatest sports franchises ever, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sports movie
Yep.
franchises,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we had seen Rocky take steroids in that first film as like a method to like get ahead and try to beat Apollo Creed, how would we feel as an audience?
I think it would all depend on how they're structuring it. Is it like are they making it, this huge like how are they angling it? Are they making it like seem like it's a bad thing? Are they just kind of like showing it as like a tidbit, like in a montage, say, him running on the beach and then him punching, a dead cow and then like a little clip of him shooting steroids? Or is it like this like 5 minute scene where he's like in a dark room buying drugs and like I feel like it all depends on how you angle it, if that makes
Honestly,
sense.
I think it would kind of spin the movie to the point of like you know how there's like Juggernaut and there's like things like that where like you like have you guys played Call of Duty before? And when you play Call of Duty Zombies, like you can get like special power ups and like Call of Duty Zombies. I feel like it would almost feel like Rocky's not human anymore. You know what I mean? Like it would give him like this like oh like he's just I don't know. I'm just kind of talking.
Yeah, no, yeah. What about you, Retro Lord?
Uh, well, I would say as long as you didn't see the fourth movie because they depicted the Russian as doing anything he can to just completely murder Rocky in the ring, and it showed him taking steroids and doing everything. So it kind of depicted that as the villain arc, which he's like my favorite. But anyway, um, but as long as you didn't see that, I would say, I mean, it would just be a different take on the movie, you know? I mean, it's kind of like wrapping around to the same thing. It showed his hard work building up to the fight and how hard he was training, you know? So kind of like when you look at everyone that advertises all the good things of the industry and really, they're in the back making sure that, they didn't leave their tasks at home or whatever, you know? So it's kind of like the same thing. They display all the foundational things and just don't show what's bringing them to a higher level. The only thing is everybody that does not bring these things to light. What we being in the bodybuilding industry for so long, we know, we can tell, we can see. We it's like a sixth sense, As Natty's like you just know. You say, all right, for most part. Most of the people that live in this world do not know. Like, how many times have you been asked a question like, "Well, the guy who won Mr. Olympia, you think he takes steroids or is he that?" Like, and I look at them like they just asked me what two plus
Gotta
two
go, boys.
was,
Yeah,
but
yeah, no,
like
I get it.
they don't know. So like, you know, so and that means that gives people the figment in their brain of could I get that way naturally, and then you just create 500 million false hopes for people.
And then you're selling supplements and protein powder and creatine that suggests that if you take these things because I'm sponsored by them and my face is next to them, then you will get a
That's
prescription.
the ticket. Like and
Yeah.
that's kind of back to my point about or to Sam's point about how, like, yeah, there is 90% of it is all the other aspects, but to the people who aren't in the world that we're in or in the bodybuilding world, it's 90% of the work is the diet and the sleep and the work exercise, everything but the steroids. Like, we know that, and then 10% of the steroids. But people who aren't in this world, I feel like they see it the other way around. They're like, if I 10% of the work is the small stuff, and 90% of it is the steroids, because they think that like taking the steroids is this like golden ticket. But as we know, you still have to be dialed in, you have to be regimented, you have to do all the things. It just kind of is that like extra level. Whereas I think people don't know that.
All
And so
right.
when
Well,
people,
hmm
so I
so
just think that when people, like, my only concern is when people who are on steroids and are, creating fitness pages, when they don't disclose that they're on steroids,
hmm
I just feel like the people who aren't in the fitness world would think that they can achieve that, and it's like this
Well,
unrealistic thing.
it's like a double-edged sword because they hide it and people don't know. But then, like, you got a lot of people who promote to not always to the point of promoting it, but say, well, I'm on this and this is what I do, don't do this at home. But, like, all the dumb kids don't listen to the dumb, don't do this at home, fine
No,
line,
because
fine print. So they can talk about it, and then all these kids are like, okay, so that's what I gotta do to get there, and they do it.
yeah,
And then it's either, oh, this is what I gotta do, or they get a broken heart realizing 99% of the world's on gear.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess I'm still a little confused because I asked the questions like, what's the difference between steroids and peptides like GLP-1s, Ozempics, retatrutide? Is there a difference?
No,
There's no
not look.
difference.
Look, if it's on the water, don't touch it. Simple. It's not that hard. It's really not. Okay, so like I kind of go to like a little bit more extreme. If it sounds or looks like it could potentially hit the water, I won't touch it. Like we got turkestrone's popular, and everybody's like, "Well, it's a plant." I get that, bro. I get that, and it really doesn't do that much. But look at the last part of the name. Okay, the last part of the name can end up on the water. There's a lot of OGs that was in the natural leagues that took pro hormones back in the day before they were illegal.
Yeah.
So just play the safe game.
Yeah, okay. I'm all for playing the safe game, but I'm still trying to like track down why. Like why are we playing the safe game and why are other people thinking I'll take anything to get ahead or I'll take anything to look better. I'll take anything to like where is
because
this why
No
is the drive
discipline.
so different?
I
No
think
discipline.
I think, yeah, definitely no discipline. I think there's more people who are starting on steroids without being in the fitness world for a long time
Yeah.
versus people who are in it. So people who are in it, they might be like natural bodybuilding for 5 years, and they're like, I'm making the conscious decision to take gear because I want to go to the Olympia, I want to get sponsorships, and I know the risks. Whereas people who are like, I'm 1 year into the gym, I haven't got the results I wanted, I'm going to take steroids. They're, I think, much more susceptible to being influenced to take steroids, or because they haven't put the work in, so they don't know, I guess, kind of like that. Even if I were to just take steroids today, it's not like, oh, in 5 weeks from now I'm going to be 40 pounds heavier.
Well, look
Like,
at
I
the
know that.
algorithm. Look at the algorithm on this app. Like most of the thing these kids see, they follow their favorite young LA guy. They follow their
Yeah.
favorite Gymshark guy. All these dudes on gear. And like, who cares? But it's the fact that they go, that's my idol. Like, my idol that got me started was Callum Von Moger way on back in like 2016, wherever he posted his Mad Desire video. And that's been like my hoorah ever since. But he's on gear. Like, but most of these people are dumb enough where they look at it and they think that's what I got to do. If I can't get there the way I am, and these kids are 18, I don't care if you're 18, 21, 25, 30. If you've not been doing it long enough, you don't know what your body's going to look like with years and years and years and years and years of work. There's guys that look like they're on gear and winning world championships, and they just been at it for decades. They just got more
I thought
years in their
Sam was on
sleeves.
gear. I thought Sam was on gear. The first time I saw his Instagram, I was like, that guy's massive. But then, just a month into following and realizing, no, he's just absolutely like psychopathically dialed in. So
Yeah.
um yeah.
Yeah, I think we just need better better incentives for like there really is no reward for staying natural. It's completely, and I think that's why the athletes are so humble. And it's like, where does it go? Where do we go from there so far as like actually leading a movement to inspire future generations to pursue the same thing?
I think what I think that like yeah, there's no I guess end game. Maybe that's not the word, but like we know that staying natural carries over into like our 70s and 80s. So like
Yeah,
our 70, 80-year-old bodies are going to be like, thank you for just staying natural and, just eating whole foods and taking care of yourself. So I think, back to your point about the growth aspect is getting people to not just think about being jacked for the next 5 years, but think about your future. So like, we're honing in on getting kids to think about and young people to think about, investing and thinking about the future. And it's happening. I feel like more younger people are considerate about saving for their retirement than they were 10 years ago. And that obviously was a shift in some way. So getting
yeah,
that same shift for the athletes to think, this isn't just a 5, 10 year game. Like, where do I want to be when I'm 70? Do I want to be in a wheelchair because I was on so many steroids and squatting weight that my body shouldn't be able to squat and be, so not just about growth. Definitely that's the number one aspect, but I think also positioning people to think about their whole life. Like, this isn't just like a 5 year thing. Like, if you take care of your body and treat it well naturally, your 70-year-old, 80-year-old self will thank you.
I like it. I like it. I keep going back to I've been thinking about for like the past 2 weeks. We're all like kind of the same age. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so when we were kids, we had Bill Nye the Science Guy, and he made science cool. And when I think of what the Natty King franchise has the potential to do, is make natural human potential and the prioritization of health and wellness and longevity cool, fun, exciting, and entertaining.
And I like the fun aspect of it because I feel like when you talk about longevity and where you're going to be, it even to me who knows the benefits, even I'm kind of going like, yeah, dude, sure, okay, man, I get it. Like,
Yeah,
if I
yeah,
it's boring.
yeah,
So finding a way to change I guess the mentality of it's not some tedious, boring thing. It's like, do you not want to feel the way you're feeling right now forever? Like, do you not want to feel amazing
yeah.
always?
And to take it a step further, so this is intended to be a docu-series amongst other things. This is a cinematic universe, right?
Yeah.
And I took a look, Mr. America, which Retrolord has a personal attachment to. It's like one of the longest bodybuilding competitions in the world. 1939 was the origin of it. When Mark Tariello, the promoter, took it over in 2020, right at the end of COVID, he actually did a docu-series of, I don't know, let's say 5 or 6 athletes who were competing in various divisions for the Mr. America tournament or competition that year. I took a look at the first episode, and within like the first, I don't know, 10 to 20 seconds, I'm seeing a woman meal prep her chicken. And I'm thinking, this is the problem. For one, she's talking like cardboard. Every single athlete is talking like cardboard. And they're showing the same exact shit that any natural bodybuilding is going through, which is like, it's boring. the shit's boring. And like, how would we make it entertaining is like the real question, you know?
I think making it less about less about each individual process and more about each individual end game. So like not like, oh, look at me, I'm eating this boring chicken and rice, but like, oh, if I eat this, I feel amazing. Kind of move it away from no.
No, man. I think we need to make it about actual competition and rivalries. And I think it has to be about like, why do we tune in for sports? Why do we watch sports? When we think of the greatest sports rivalries, we think of freaking the Chicago Bulls and the freaking Detroit Pistons. We think of like the Patriots, the New England Patriots against the fucking Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like we think of rivalries and we tune in to see what's going to happen. It's unpredictable. We don't know who's going to win. We care about the athletes and we care about the story that has happened over the course of months to years or over the course of a season, and we want to know who's going to come out on top.
I
That's
guess
why we watch sports.
all right, I got a little thought here. So to glamorize, I guess, for a show. Say the three of us were
Glamorize is a good
competing.
word.
Okay, say the three of us were competing in a show next
Yes.
Saturday. Let's
Yes.
call it New York Naturals.
Love it.
And instead of just being like, "Yep, that's the show date. These are the people that are competing." Kind of maybe have either some channel or some sort of documentation of like, all right,
Yeah.
this is Nick. This is him hitting his back day to prepare for the big show next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Talk about how you're feeling. And then, it goes to you. It's like, Shaun, Nick just said he's hitting, three sets
Yeah.
of 10 for back.
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
you doing for your kind of thing? Oh, I think
Yeah.
that's kind of it. Because it's kind of like, not create like bantering, but like before a fight, they do that, like, there's like that, they're going at it. So kind of creating not like negative tension between the athletes, but kind of like getting people hyped, like, okay, Nick's doing this for his show, Shaun's doing this for his show. And then the day that the show comes, it's like, okay, we've been kind of tuning in to see how they're doing. And it's not just them posting like, yep, this is me after back day, and then this is me after leg day.
Right.
But having someone else kind of coming in and kind of stirring the pot, if that makes sense.
And Retro Lord, you smiled. I want to know why you smiled.
Because that was not even close to what went through my head.
Okay.
So, like, good point. Good point. Look, it was just, you were sitting here talking, it was just running through my head. I just started laughing. I was thinking more like a billboard effect, like an ad scene on TV. See, like, that they will make the statements like, oh, well, if you just don't take stuff. No, like, literally, it could be me in a costume going, hi, my name, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? And I take a needle and like throw it at a tree and break it. And I go, look, guess what? I did this naturally. I did this for this many years. Guess what? It ain't that hard. And just some over exaggerated advertisement like I see on TV. And then
Okay.
it's like, bam, I'm on stage. I'll say, see, you can do it too.
I love that. I
You
love
Or
know,
that.
it's like when they talk about like the teams that are playing. It's like tune in Friday night, biggest matchup of the year. Blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And so
I,
like,
I think we should make fun of that. I think exactly what Retro said. Like, we make fun of how other sports gets marketed. So it's like biggest matchup of the year again, and then like we spotlight the athlete and like we just satirize the whole thing. Like, my name is Shaun Fury, and I know that I'm going up against Retro this upcoming Saturday, and like he's toast, like some shit like
yeah,
that.
like almost like wrestling, like how okay, all right.
Yeah,
but
I
yeah, I love that type of talk. If it was like wrestling promos, that's where it's at. That would grab
like
attention
he's
because
like
nobody does that.
Retro's
Nobody.
going down this Saturday. Nick's coming to town.
exactly.
Like
And
okay,
and we should also take a look at what like the before and after of Conor McGregor and his impact in UFC. There was a prior UFC before like Conor got in, and it's like it was at this level, and then Conor gets in, and his promos, it's literally promos. He's fast talking, he's wisecracking, he's got like nothing but jokes and insults, and UFC's ratings shot way the fuck up. So I mean, like, we're not reinventing the wheel, we're just looking for characters who understand the framework.
Oh, I like this. I like the idea of the satirization and kind of over glamorization of the sport, and not
Yes.
not making fun of the sport, but using fun to promote the sport.
Yeah, honestly, we're making fun of sports, period.
Yeah.
We're making fun of like the general concept of sports, which is like we're just creating rivalries that are like grounded in like this is silly. We all know that natural bodybuilding is about your own self growth and your own prioritization of health and wellness and longevity. So like that's the core message, and we just have to get that message across. But we use satirization, comedy, and dramatic storytelling to present that message.
Or like okay, yeah. I definitely like what we're putting down, and I think that would just make the sport just even more. I don't know, even more fun for the athletes. And I feel like that, like if that were to happen, there'd be a bit more self promotion as well,
Yeah,
because a lot of natural bodybuilders pretty humble. It's kind of like I'm gonna stay in the shadows, do my workouts, and then I'll show up the day. It's like
yeah,
no, let's make this fun. Like let's be
yeah.
like let's get some kind of crap talking between each other. It doesn't have to be like mean or like horrible, but just be like I like I'm gonna win. You're going down. You're like
Amen.
this is the big
Amen. So here's the next point. And we're what we just talked about is lead up, right? So if you're marketing a wrestling promo or a UFC fight, Dana White is promoting the big matchup between Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov, right? So they've got tons of scheduled promos. They've got tons of scheduled like behind the scenes of Connor training and yada yada yada. He's talking trash. Then you get to the actual night of the event, and what's the performance that they actually see when Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov are going against each other? They're seeing an actual fight. Okay, that in and of itself is entertaining. People love to see fights. They love to see blood, right? Like we go back all the way to the Coliseum. If you're creating these rivalries within the sport of natural bodybuilding, and like we got trash talk and we've got all these performances back and forth, promos and stuff like that. Retro Lord, I know that you're going to be a great promo and shooter. I know you're going to be great at that. What happens the night of? Where's the entertainment when we actually get to the natural bodybuilding competition? Is side by side comparisons, are mandatory poses, is that actually entertaining?
I think, I mean, coming from someone who hasn't seen a lot of shows, but I mean, the most exciting part for me, like, is when they just kind of let the athletes go do it, like do your best pose,
Thank you.
and or I mean, and get one. What's the guy? What's the guy? I don't know if it's wrestling. You know, black suit. He's always like, "Let's get ready to rumble." That guy.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Boxing.
yeah. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Get a
Puffer,
guy like
Puffer.
get a guy like that, like on stage in
Yes.
like a in like a super douchey
Yes.
suit, big
Yes.
bow tie, slick
Yes.
back hair,
Yes.
and he's just like, and he's kind of looking at the athlete. She's like, oh yeah,
Dramatize it. Yeah.
look at Sean's legs. What are you gonna do about that, Retro? What are you gonna do? And then like, not just like quarter turn,
Yes.
quarter turn, quarter
Yes.
turn. I
Okay.
think like there's a place for that, like you know what I mean. But I think there should be like an added part of the show, or like maybe like there's 2 minutes at the end of the stage time where it's just like make yourself look the best, like
Mm-hmm.
and like really hone in on that.
What are your thoughts, Retro?
I would say like keep the mandatories for a section of it because then like if you have kind of like how Natty News does for shows, if you have commentators and you have the little logo come across the screen, name, where they're from, uh, body specs like height and weight, whatever, and then you got them literally comment like, "Oh look at his quarter turn or side shot or whatever. Look at this," and they're actually invested in the comment. You have to get people who's like really, really into the commentating and they're not just bland. Like you gotta make sure like they're really honed in and like talking about each and every athlete. And then the part where you're talking about with the best poses is towards like the end. What you said kind of sounds similar to a pose down, but the problem with a pose down is it becomes an ant pile. Everybody just falls over each other, posing, trying to get in front. Oh, I got to get in front of judges. And some dudes say screw it and go to the crowd, or they go to the front of the stage. If you start picking numbers and had them come up as twos or threes and had them do miniature face-offs on
Okay,
purpose, so
yeah,
that they get their
yeah.
space, and they call them out by names and start bantering at them while they're on stage. I'd get pissed just sitting there. So like walk up and start hitting the pose. Like, what are you going to do? Hey, he's about to hit this. I'm about no. I'll start talking on stage. I'll yell and I'll get in front of him and hit something better.
I
That would
agree.
be cool.
And I like the commentary part thing too, kind of like when you tune into any sports, and anybody who doesn't know sports, they can kind of pick up what's going on from the commentating. And so you're not just having just football fans watching, other people can watch it. And so like when they're doing their quarter turns, it's like, oh, he did really well last year because Nick's quarter turn was really like did really good. But you could tell in his off season he hasn't really worked on those things. Just little like kind of.
Just look up the Arnold Classic back when it used to be on ESPN, like way on back in the day when they had Arnold back there. They had the others back there. I think Lee Priest on them, something like that. They were all commentating. They're going ham on it, like literally, like. And there's a build up too. Like literally, watch the entire thing. It's showing them dudes ride up in limos and everything, and get out of the cars and following them.
Like a like yeah,
Yes.
walkout songs, like like game day picks. When it's like
Yes.
the athletes coming in with their suits on, like
Yeah.
coming in with your tan on. You got like a bejeweled robe on,
I
just
love
like
it.
team neck on it. Your
Yes.
coach and your friends are all wearing a shirt with your face on it, walking behind you like a mean
Yeah.
mug, patting you
Yes.
on the back. Then
Yes.
before you go on stage, you have like a thing on. They like take it off you, like your robe. They like before, like when fighters come out, they take the robe off,
Yes.
like something like that. And there's like
Yes.
backstage footage of like
Yeah.
the guys, doing their stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I love this. I love everything that you guys are saying. I was gonna hold off. We have Yoshi, do you guys know Yoshi? Retro, you know Yoshi. Do you know Yoshi?
No.
About Instagram.
Okay. Yoshi is also a member on the Natty King roster. I was gonna hold off on pitching this concept until he got on, but I'll just repeat myself in the event that he frees himself from work. Okay, so he is a posing enthusiast, and like myself, he believes that the future of the sport is posing. And I've been thinking about what are major draws to any kind of sporting event. If we're looking to go mainstream, bodybuilding is currently not mainstream. Let's just like make that clear. Bodybuilding is not a mainstream sport currently in 2025. My goal as a promoter is to make it so. So if I'm thinking about what draws attention to a sports event, it is the performance. There is no performance in bodybuilding if it's not posing. Period. I don't care how big your muscles are. I don't care how dieted you are. That is not a performance when you walk on stage. It is how you present that physique. So, if we're looking at these rivalries, which is what we've already kind of grounded the future of the sport in, presenting rivalries and compelling stories and dynamics, then it's got to be about matches, and styles make matches. So if you're
Hmm.
thinking about like a boxing match and Muhammad Ali is a dancer and you got Mike Tyson who's like a knockout artist, right? Who's going to win between the dancer and the knockout artist, right? So then we start presenting very much similar to like what Retro said, pairing each athlete off against each other, one-on-ones, and we start creating a bracket style tournament of future bodybuilding competitions. I don't care about the WNBF or the OCB or the Mr. America. I'm talking about within the Natty King franchise, we do tournament style brackets where it's one-on-one athlete and we are pairing them up stylistically. So let's say Retro has a lean and very conditioned physique and he's going up against a mass monster within the realm of natural bodybuilding. The mass monster's posing style is going to match up differently than Retro's. Retro might be theatrical and super like exaggerated and dramatic. Whereas like the mass monster, he just gets up there and hits a front double by and he's like, yo, this guy's arms are huge. But we're judging based off of what they're bringing to the stage and who's got the better performance.
So I think so in that I guess posing situation, would you still have, like, to Retro's point, like, I think it's good to have the boring stuff, if you will, like the side shot, whatever. And then would you kind of each person have their own kind of stylized posing routine and then they're judging those individually? Or is it like I do my posing routine and you're on the stage doing your thing and we're both doing different kind of routines at the same time?
Personally, I see a 3 round posing flow off. A posing flow off. I don't have the name yet, but I
Okay.
see a
All right.
3 round posing round flow where I kind of have this concept, and this is supposed to evolve into a anime. And I'm thinking of Hunter x Hunter. I'm thinking of Naruto. I'm thinking of power systems embedded within our favorite anime concepts, right? So I see like a rock paper scissors presentation of like this style beats that style, but that style beats this style, and this
Almost like a
style.
dance off. Kind of like how they're
Correct.
like, they do there's two people on a stage. I do my moves, and the guy's kind of standing there going like, okay, okay, and then like finishes his thing, then I do mine, and it's kind of like a
Right.
tit for tat. Okay,
Right.
all right,
Right. And within each style, it's like if we're going off of rock paper scissors. So let's say you're going up against like a mass monster who like embodies what it means to be super large and have like all the size in the world, right? If he's going up against someone like Retro Lord who like just knows how to move fluidly, who's got the better style and who actually executes that style more efficiently compared
okay,
to a guy who's like, let's say, a super technical poser where it's like he connects his transitions and is super in tune with like the next logical sequence of his posing flow. Maybe that trumps a different style, and that's how we start building these stylistic matchups within the Natty King franchise specifically. And again, this evolves into an anime, so I'm thinking about something that takes place in the future.
and I think with the rock paper scissors aspect and like a kind of like a pose off, dance off type thing, I think that really connects with the sports of like boxing and UFC in terms of like the leading up and preparing for it and hyping for it. So I saw a buddy of mine just actually messaged in and said, how they follow the athletes the week before. So it's kind of similar to like that. So the day of the show, have like a 30-second clip, and it's me kind of, like have the Rocky soundtracks playing, and I'm running outside, and then like it's me lifting a bunch of rusty weights,
Yes.
and getting people hyped up. Like, this is
Yes.
Nick preparing for the big showdown
Right.
or
Right.
whatever.
And then it makes the training more relevant. It makes like everything you're doing leading up to the event more relevant because you're looking to present through your posing the training and the consistency that you kept up with leading into it.
Yeah.
So then like everything drives back to you're presenting the best physique and you're presenting your physique in the style that makes sense for your physique. We
Yeah.
don't have to like make it all about size anymore. Like it doesn't have to be about like conditioning. If you've got great conditioning, present that within your posing flow.
It can be a three
Yeah.
round system. So have the mandatories as the first, have choreographed posing routines, personal routines that you can do the style comparisons on second. The third, when you do the calling out to people, you could have it separated where they both have to pose off with each other, or you could have that third round. This is where I'm getting to is they don't know the song, but whoever DJ whatever picks a certain song within reason, and they have to freestyle to it compared to the
Okay.
other person freestyling to a different song. That way, it doesn't give anyone the ability to memorize anything
Mm-hmm.
or even hear it. Once you hear it, you have to go with it.
And would there be eliminations in these rounds, or is it everyone included up to the end, or is it kind of like you wean some people out off the first round? It's like, okay, that guy obviously did a
It's a
month of
point
working out.
system,
Or
like a
okay,
point system, because like you don't want to just like chopping block
I
necessarily.
guess because they could have a bad first round, but then had like his, maybe not be the best
But-
condition, but
right.
come to the third posing round, the guy is like in tune, hitting the mark. Okay, I like that.
It could
That
be
makes
like
point.
5, 5, and 5.
Yeah,
Like if I came in on mandatories and I got like, if they got some big old hush puppies on stage and I get like a 3 or 3.5 or 4 out of 5, some of them got 5. We go to the choreographed posing routines and I get a 5, and then I turn around and I go freestyle and then I get a 5 because to be honest, I can do that.
yeah.
That's just that's a sick system, and a lot of the high end guys do know how to pose decently. Like they might not be ridiculous. Like I've seen a lot of guys who like they'll kind of care about posing. They could be even champions, but their posing routines are still kind of bland. It's the same. Go with the music. Okay, here's a front double. Cool. I hit front doubles in my sleep. Do something else. Do something entertaining. Do something that's not normal.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
different styles of posing.
Yeah.
I remember Arnold Classic 2022. Um, one of my old friends who I used to be teammates with, uh, Jarrett Crew. He's a posing coach, and he uh he was at the Arnold Classic, and he got a lot of like hate because he had pink hair and a lot of tattoos and stuff. But he had a very like I call it like Jaguar esque posing routine where he really went off, very dramatic and stuff. Then you have Logan Franklin who looks like Captain America walk up and like somehow, and I was jealous because I don't know how I got away with it, maroon classic trunks and did a complete symmetrical OG classic like poses, and that was it. And slow, just like a statue, and he got best poser instead. And I think that was kind of preference, but I mean, because it really, I mean, it just looked legit. It was just he looked like a statue and just hitting on the poses. Versus Jerks was on the entertaining side, and it was still good nonetheless.
That's kind of what I'm getting at, where it's like I think we can like if styles make matches, if we're looking at boxing, we're looking at UFC, then posing styles can make matches. And what you just exampled is perfect. One guy came in and was super entertaining, but another guy presented his physique through statuesque posing, and he won best poser. And like that's what I want to hit on.
And I think with the whole like the styles thing, and to Retro's point about like the different music, I think that would be like a big one for me because you're gonna be watching, so you're watching your favorite team, and all of a sudden it's like either a power play or a penalty or the star player is now removed, so they have to change their whole dynamic on the fly last minute. And so
Yeah.
that shows their abilities as athletes. So if you like anybody can just hit the same posing routine every day for 40 minutes and then go on stage and do it. And it's going to look perfect because they've done it every single day.
Right. Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
with a coach who's telling them, yeah, a little to the left, a little to the right. But when you throw that other song on and you got to do a routine to that,
Yeah.
it's like that shows how well they are able to, I guess, connect with their body.
Yeah, and we also like I love what you're saying, and we can also kind of bring it closer. So if we've got, let's say, retro style is one of like entertaining. I really want to ground the styles in pathos, ethos, and logos. That's specifically for the anime, but we can start alluding to that in real life as we continue to prep for that. So pathos is basically emoting, expressing, theatrical, like really being like a dramatic type of performer. Logos is logical, technical, sequential, where it's like the next posing move and the way that you transition makes logical sense. So that's logos. And then ethos is like the embodiment of what it means to be a true statuesque bodybuilder. So you're hitting a lot of like recognizable poses. Maybe the transitions aren't as blocky because you're focused on being statuesque, right? So those are the different styles, and that's like the rock, paper, scissors of that, right? So if we have an athlete who is doing, let's say, ethos and is looking to embody what it means to be like a statuesque poser, we can ground his identity around that style in the lead up to the pose off or to the match, where it's like this guy is like stoic, he's very focused. I'm a bodybuilder. Then if we have like someone like Retro who's in like pathos, he emotes, he expresses, he's theatrical, he can be as big as he wants because that's grounded in his identity as the stylistic posing flow that he presents. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I will say, flipping back, I guess a little bit of grace maybe that the athletes can be given the song like 5 minutes, ten
Sure.
minutes,
Yeah.
20 minutes
Okay. Yeah.
before, just
Yeah.
so that they can sit like, because like if you really don't know the beats of a song, to be honest, everyone's going to be off sync if they've never heard it.
Yeah.
But like, give them the song like just shortly, maybe even like not enough time for them to choreograph, but give them like
But
ten
like
minutes,
maybe like
enough to
as
hear the
like
song one time.
Like you get the song, you get 3 minutes with it, and then as you're going, the second you start on the stage, the guy comes up, Nick, this is your song, and you have that time while you're
Yeah,
doing your thing to get a groove for it.
yeah.
Or we could even let them know at the top of the show. I want to set the athletes up for success. So maybe it's like one song at the top of the show, but it's like if you guys get caught up in the song and you're trying to like figure out like, oh, what am I going to do? Then how you present it is how you present it. But
Yeah.
maybe they know at the top of the show and like we all have the same idea as what the song is, and then we see what happens.
Yeah, like I mean, or like like a raffle ticket where just everybody's names on the pot, and then they just get that different songs written on them.
Something like that.
Like I don't really, to be honest. I mean, sometimes I do, but like I can create a routine in my head just
Mhm.
about.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I don't really need to sit here and practice.
Yeah.
I know how to do whatever I'm creating in my head, and most of the time, being a harsh critic, I'm like, "Oh, this ain't gonna look good," and then I hit it, and it's just immaculate.
Yeah.
It's like it just depends. You
Yeah.
get the song, you sit here, and I can like, if I just retrain my brain and I just keep rewinding the song, and I hear it,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. You know.
Okay, so I love all of this, and just to like recap, because I think like we made like a lot of progress. We're essentially looking to create story-driven narratives around the athletes, presenting each athlete as like their own. Oh, this is perfect. Yoshi just joined. By the way, like I know Nick, you've been on here for an hour, so
I'm chilling, man.
okay, okay,
I've done my meal prep. I'm chilling for the night.
okay. Yoshi, I'm gonna catch you up to speed. How's it going, bro?
It's going all right.
Okay, so I'm like this is like future, not a prediction. It's a spoiler. Yoshi is the future of posing, and he's the future of bodybuilding through how he presents posing. And
This is one
personally,
way to anchor it.
Not to put you on the spot or anything, man.
yeah, right. But like personally, I was looking forward to Yoshi and Retro meeting because you guys present as like a perfect example of two very different styles. That is like I asked the question, it's like, okay, well, how would these two look up against each other if they were going in a head-to-head pose-off battle? I
Mm,
don't even like to call it pose-off because like it doesn't fully encapsulate the vision as to like what it is I want to capture within the future of posing.
Mm.
But
How would
yeah.
that look?
Yeah, it would be interesting. So just to bring you up to speed a little bit, Yoshi, we have talked about pathos, ethos, and logos before, right?
Correct.
Okay, so the idea that I have, and I was just talking to Nick and Retro about this, is essentially doing a rock paper scissors of pathos, ethos, and logos, and suggesting that each of these core persuasions is a different style for posing flows. So
Mm.
pathos is emotion, expression, and theatrics. So basically, like you're doing like something that creates feeling within the audience and the judges. Logos is technical, fluid, really focuses on really great transitions and the most logical next step in the posing flow. And then ethos is the embodiment of statuesque, recognizable bodybuilding poses. And I've kind of mapped it out where, and feel free to like, this is obviously very like fluid and stuff like that. But I've kind of mapped it out where it's like, if it's a rock, paper, scissors, I attached size to ethos, where it's like the mass monster on stage is going to more typically gear towards ethos, so he can hit like big poses and hold them. I've mapped out conditioning athletes, people who like to prioritize on conditioning, to logos. So that way, when they move through these fluid moments, they're actually showing how conditioned they are. And then the people who prioritize shape, they're more so into the performance and the theatrical aspect of pathos.
Mm.
And then it does become kind of like a rock, paper, scissors, and styles make matchups.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So like, just to like play devil's advocate, if we were to like see this actually exampled in real life, Yoshi, if I were to like perceive you as a logos style posing artist who was like very technical and very fluid with the transitions, and Retro was like a pathos where he's emotive, expressive, and theatrical, the way I would kind of do it is the rock, paper, scissors, logos loses to pathos if pathos is done correctly. But if you do it really, really well and the person who's doing pathos doesn't do it as well, then logos has the ability to beat pathos. And then ethos comes in next.
Mm.
Yeah.
This is pretty much
Yeah.
Pokemon at this point.
Say that again?
This is pretty much Pokemon at this point.
Yes. 100%. That's what we want. We want we want something that is easy to understand, but like when you dive into it, it gets super intricate. That's what we
Mm.
want. On the surface level, it's super easy. Pathos, ethos, and logos. But on the deeper level, it's like, oh, well, pathos beats logos and yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
We want to gamify it.
Oh, it's gonna be easy.
Yeah, yeah. And then once we actually do properly gamify it, we can like as I was explaining to Nick and Retro, I think so far as the Natty King franchise, I would like to further gear away from the way that typical bodybuilding competitions are structured and have it be more tournament style brackets where it goes like one on one and maybe like a 3 round structure where each athlete is presented with like a posing flow, maybe a choreographed routine, and maybe I'm not fully sold on mandatory poses because I don't think that they're entertaining. Retro's into them. I don't know if it really fits for the vision, but like I'm willing to entertain it. Nothing's fleshed out yet. But yeah, I would like to create matchups, stylistic matchups against each athlete.
And I think with these stylistic matchups, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, as this is coming from someone who hasn't competed in a show and has only seen them. I think the stylized matchups create a possibility for a better overall winner in the sense of like, certain judges could just like certain things and they're going to have their preferences. But when you're having people, perform a different stylized and they're doing things that aren't what their best thing is, you can see the gaps in their physique and training a bit more.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
kind of where, yeah.
And the reason I came up with this is because I've been talking to different athletes and different promoters and different federations. You got WMBF, OCB, IFBB, yada yada yada, and there's a different judging criteria in every single federation. One
Yeah.
federation prioritizes conditioning, another federation prioritizes size. So the way I would like to, and again, the Natty King franchise is not a federation. It is a presentation. It's a franchise. It's a TV show. It's an anime. This is a cinematic universe. So what I'm offering is each athlete has the opportunity to focus on whatever the hell they want to focus on. If they want to come in super conditioned, do that and then present your posing style with an emphasis on logos. Come in super technical, come in super fluid, focus on your transitions. If you want to come in as a mass monster and like that's your genetic structure, come in with ethos. Hit those front double buys, make them look good. Hold it for like 5 seconds and just show off. If you want to come in and like me personally, I'm like a shape guy, so I'm gonna do pathos. I have a performative background, so I'm looking to like create a feeling of like, wow, this guy really moves epically. This guy really moves theatrically. So that would be my posing style. And obviously, you have the opportunity to like master all three of them, and that goes into the anime. But you want to ground your posing style first, and then from there, it becomes whatever you want it to be.
By that same token, the one who masters all three of them should be the Natty King.
100%, 100%, 100%. Yes, and that's the anime in a nutshell. That literally is the anime in a nutshell.
And I think that's what's going to make it more entertaining for people who aren't in the sport.
Yes,
Like we can watch, Arnold's bodybuilding or any show. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to be like, oh, that guy's condition's great, whatever. But when someone who's not in the sport, and which, correct me if I'm wrong, to get more people into it, you're going to have people who don't work out every day, who aren't into bodybuilding.
yeah,
And when they see, I guess, people doing these matchups, they're going to see, I guess, the beauty of the sport, if you will. They're not just going to be like, okay, that guy's massive, good for him.
correct,
They're going
correct,
to see, okay, he's not only massive, but he's fluid with his body. He can move in a certain way.
correct, correct,
He's showing that his thing is just showing up with the front double by and like, look at me, I'm massive. But he can also flip gears and do the more stylistic posing. And that's
correct,
when people
correct.
are like,
Putting it this way, when TV was golden before Netflix and YouTube Premium, more people watched American Idol and Dancing with the Stars and whoever
Yes,
got
yes,
talent
yeah,
than anybody has ever watched Mr. Olympia.
yes, 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 yes. I very much agree. Yeah. So, and again, like I'm an anime buff, so this would be like a prequel to the anime. We want to suggest that the first person who like wins the Natty King, maybe they're showing an inkling of the potential of the future Natty King that actually gets crowned in the anime. So if we're looking at Naruto, the first Hokage was Hashirama. He was dope, super powerful, greatest first Hokage ever. And then Naruto ends up becoming the greatest Hokage to have ever been that guy. So like the first Natty King, huge deal, huge deal. Revolutionary. We've changed the sport. Hurrah. The Natty King that gets crowned in the anime, that's the person who like achieves world peace. That's essentially the storyline.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick. Right on. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie,
it's
you lost me on all the anime stuff, man.
Oh my bad.
You're speaking riddles with that. I didn't watch
nah,
anime.
it ain't riddles to me. That ain't riddles to
Yeah,
me. Speaking my language. I got
yeah,
Dragon
yeah.
Ball all over my wall right now.
It's just
Uh,
storylines. Oh, we're just talking storylines is all. Do you like Game of Thrones by chance?
oh, buddy, fuck.
It's
Saw it
okay.
I saw it 7 times.
Oh, great, great. Okay,
Yeah, I'm like, it's like weird obsession, man. I watch it so.
all right.
Anytime I find someone that hasn't seen it, I'm like, you want to watch the whole thing,
Okay,
like right now?
so forget anime. Let's just talk like Game of Thrones prophecies. There's a prophesized like legend that the Natty King that is able to master all three posing styles, will enact the next phase of humanity and achieve world peace. That's
Okay,
the
okay,
prophecy.
yeah, all right.
So that's why the slogan of the first season of the Natty King must be crowned. That is the slogan. So whenever you see it in like marketing material, when we get the docuseries on Netflix, the Natty King must be crowned because it leads into the anime.
Well, someone's got to be the Night King. I guess I got to do it if no one's going to do it.
Exactly. Exactly. And then we create rivalries.
Winter's coming.
All of it. All of it.
Again, play that into the building up for the theatrics of the show. Like there's a winter show coming.
Yeah. Well,
Get all
part of
mystical about it. Like winter is
retro's
coming.
yes, part of retro's story like retro is a character, right? So he's got a whole like fire and ice persona. So like we can play that up like with costuming and yada yada. Like we can do all kinds of shit. Like we have It's like whole 9 yards.
Like the wrestle thing, like bringing the
Yeah,
like
correct.
the theatrics of wrestling. Like everybody who's watching it knows that it's fake and that it's a ruse, but they don't care because it's entertaining.
And we
So
make
bring
fun
that
of it.
and
We
like
make
bring that
fun of
into
it.
the bodybuilding, with whether it's suits, costumes, or a walkout song or whatever. People know that it's theatrics and BS, but it's entertaining, and
Right.
they're more inclined to be like, okay, I want it. Okay, this guy came out to some Guns N' Roses song with a red suit and purple hair. I want to see how he's going to go on stage. Is this guy
Right.
serious, or is he all jokes?
Yeah.
Is he just a shit talker?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, okay.
And then we pair him up with like the super stoic silent guy.
The hood on guy, no music, working out in the snow.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, that's what I got. I wanted to Yoshi, you came in a bit late, but just like what are inkling thoughts of what I just said?
I'm trying to soak it all in. Like, I feel like I'm just watching this IG live, just on it. Uh, I mean, I like the idea of ethos, logos, and pathos. What happens when you have two, like, ethos dominant competitors up against each other?
Who
Like,
does it
and
best?
to further that, how does the Natty King get crowned if,
Hmm.
like, you can't have more than just a one-on-one? How would it work in, like, a multiplayer setting? Like, the lineup of 30 athletes, sure, we whittle it down to maybe top five.
Hmm.
How do those five, or the remaining ones get crowned against each other if it's just limited to that one-on-one?
Well, retro. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Like back to your kind of the three tiers, I guess. The mandatory poses, and then having like the toss up of the song. So we talked about how like instead of knowing the song that you're going to do your posing routine to, you get told a song right before you go on stage, and you got to kind of match with it. So that's
Yeah.
kind of, I guess, where the separating from the group could come. Like, I guess with the point system, like how do they go on their own?
Yeah, because what if you get a song that like is not even your genre you vibe with? You
Right.
got to make it work. You got to
Yeah.
make lemonade out of lemons.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
Hmm.
like that idea of having that, like, yeah, like freestyle to the song, first take on stage. You need to be able to be in that zone, and yeah, with the right flow state of mind, you can hit that, like, every time.
Hmm.
The reason I'm excited about it is because it will incentivize athletes to prioritize their posing,
Mm-hmm.
and we will create, which is like I know that Yoshi and I are on the same page, and I hope that you guys are on the same page. Posing needs to become the centerpiece. I don't care about the other bodybuilding competitions. I really don't care. I'm focused on the Natty King franchise. Posing is the centerpiece. Like
Yeah.
size, shape, and conditioning looks to better present posing styles.
Well, they don't tell us to step on stage with our numbers and just stand there.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
They tell us
Yeah.
to pose.
Yeah. 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 Agreed.
You
Agreed.
know, it don't matter how jacked the biker is. He still got to pedal up that mountain to the finish line. They're using bicycles.
Exactly.
It's bicycling.
Yeah, that's something
Posing.
that was a pretty big eye opener, is seeing some of like the pro shows, pro qualifiers, looking at some guy again, someone who isn't in this world long. I'm like, that guy is most jacked. He's winning. Like when they all walk out, I'm like, I think that guy's gonna win. And then you watch some guy who's like maybe 10 pounds lighter, conditioning isn't as good, bit smaller, but he's blowing him out of the water. Like he's getting put front and center right away, and he's not budging because his posing was immaculate. And I was like, so now
Yeah.
that's something. I'm 22 weeks out, and so like I'm now like I was just gonna wait till I'm 10 weeks out to kind of hone in on my posing. I'll figure that out later. And then I've realized, okay, I should probably do this now.
Yeah.
Lock this in
Yeah.
like now.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I have, because like I look at the posing that I sent to my coach this week versus 5 weeks ago, and I'm only doing a little bit here and there throughout the week, and it's night and day. So I come to think, if I were to just hone in on half an hour a day real posing practice, that
Amen.
ups my chances of placing so much higher.
Amen. 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 I also want to add another seed, and again, I'm just planting a seed. We are talking about a docu-series that we would like to have end up on Netflix, but regardless, it's going to require funding wherever it lands. And I'm even thinking of, and again, this is just an idea, But what if we what if we created a 15 episode season where we actually start the tournament style brackets in each episode, where it's like, let's say the first episode is Yoshi and Retro going up against each other. And Yoshi's literally like, we see him taking a plane over to where Retro is in Georgia. And we're going to like Retro's like home gym in like that specific part of the world. And we're actually doing the posing battle at the gym with like a crowd of people, and we're doing like a 3 round structure, and we would do that for like each episode where it's like this athlete is paired with this athlete. We're watching like maybe a 45-minute episode. We're getting their backstories as it leads into the final 20 minutes of the episode.
I have an idea off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of going like having like the night, or I guess no, that wouldn't be possible. Like having the night filmed and then going back and telling that story as the episode progresses, then have that matchup of that night, right? And how it plays out in those certain steps.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm all about playing with the timeline. I'm all about
Hmm.
So
playing with that.
like I kind of think of it like this, like the home gym thing is kind of cool.
Hmm.
But like what about like a Baki setting where like you
Mm.
have where you have the two that were picked that
Yeah.
has the whole buildup
Yeah.
actually have like some sort of arena.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a
Yeah.
stage. Like,
Yeah.
please make it. We got to make it good,
Yeah.
not
Hmm.
just some podunk stage.
Yeah.
But actually have like a center meeting point.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And I mean, if someone wants to travel all the way to someone else, all right. But like
Right.
maybe like have a meeting point where like everybody can kind of just both can travel, both can meet at a
Yeah.
spot, but
Yeah.
like that
And it,
way it also opens up our borders of like where we want to have it. And it
Yes.
might be so good where it's the dueling ground for everybody, you
and that
know?
kind of to the theatrics part and the center, like having a central meeting point. Think about when you're in high school and it's like, yo, like James and Rick, they're fighting in the park after school.
Yes.
Like we got,
Well,
like we gotta, like they're going to the park. We gotta get to the park.
so that's why I thought of like home gyms and stuff like that, because all of this, like the whole Natty King tournament, I was inspired by Tekken, which is a fighting video game, Street Fighter, Soul Calibur, and stuff like that. And when I think of like a Street Fighter style tournament, again, we're talking tournament, you see like Ryu and Ken fighting on the streets of like a bodega, and you got like people in the background like cheering them on. And it's just like it's like a random fight happening on the street. And when I see like if we were to recreate that in like gyms where like people are like working out, but like they're also watching and stuff like that, and like they're just kind of scenery. They're just kind of in the background, but like at the forefront, we're seeing these two athletes, going at it.
I have
Yeah.
another thing tying it back to the tournament itself, like that one night where everybody's crowned. When you do have those two matchups, right, or those lineups, you set and you create the set and setting with the stage itself, and you create these different environments in the set and setting for each and every matchup.
Ooh.
So yeah, one would be on this bridge or whatever
Oh,
where the
kind of like
two
Mortal
athletes
Kombat.
meet. Yeah, like Mortal Kombat, like tech, like the
Yeah.
fighter, and
Ooh.
you add the element to the stage and
Yeah.
the props and all that
Yes.
stuff, and you create these different parts
Oh
of the
my
world
God.
with that performance, and then you film that performance,
Yes.
and then you tie in the storyline with the athlete's prep leading up into that night.
Wow. Oh my God. I.
Yeah, I would like. There's two ways you can go about that. Is like one, like you were saying, like prop stuff. It could be a stage that's like, or like if they were going back and forth, like if they went to one location, it could be themed a certain way, and actual real effort going to the stage. You could have fog. You could have
Ooh.
different actual
I
props, like
love this.
different good stuff. Like, I mean, like if we want to spend the money to design a stage according to each character themselves, kind of like their home turf or like, visiting field or whatever, or just have the right marketing equipment and they could meet literally like on a mountain with a flat surface and it
Yes.
could be just the same environment but really have like some actual like because of natural lighting I guess we could get tan but
Oh my
like
God.
actual lighting, you could have actual perfect looking physiques in natural lighting because that's where they look the best anyways. And it could be literally different places. As long as you have the right camera and the right videographer,
Yeah.
you can get all kinds of different angles. You could have them in the right spot. I mean, it could quite literally be um, a road in Arizona where there's nothing on the road. It could be quite literally a mountain where there's a
Yeah.
big flat surface on top. We have one down here in Georgia like that. It's
Top of a
ginormous.
skyscraper.
Yeah.
It's all kinds of different stuff.
What Nick
If you
just said.
wanted
What Nick just said too. Top of a
what?
skyscraper.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this. I love
Yeah,
this.
this will pull some traction.
Oh yeah. We're talking scenic landscapes.
I think that's honestly, screw the stage.
Yeah.
Like the
I'm kind
stage
of
could be like the last place
yeah.
that everyone goes to,
Yeah.
but if you get scenic environments, like
Yes.
actual good environments, not
Yes.
just there's this cool little spot in the woods. No, 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 legitimate spots.
And just like in like fighting video games with like Tekken and Mortal Kombat, if we tie the location to one of the athletes and then it becomes that athlete's home turf and then the other athlete is coming to them, we can just tie it in just like that. My phone is at 20%. I really want to make sure that I'm able to post this and like we can refer back to it. I think we hit a lot of great shit. I'm loving the scenic environments. I'm definitely into that. And just consider this like the beginning of like future conversations. I'm just planting seeds. Nothing set in
No, this is
stone,
good.
but I
This is
really like
good.
the progress that we made.
Yeah,
Sweet.
Cool. Cool, guys.
this is
I'm gonna
sick.
hit fucking leg day. I'm fucking pumped after this conversation.
Go get after it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my nighttime sups and get sleepy.
All right. All
Yeah,
right. I love
it's
it. I
some
love it.
bedtime cream of rice for me.
Yep.
Look at us all
Nice.
being bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Yeah, got my water and L-theanine, glycine, all that fun jazz.
I love it. I love it. Well, this was incredibly productive. Yoshi, we'll talk again because I know that you're coming in a bit late. But I
Sure.
want to flesh more stuff out with you separately. But I'll reach out to you offline.
Yeah, no worries.
Sweet. All
And
right, cheers, guys. Good to meet you guys.
All right, bros.
retro, I do want to learn more about you and your backstory.
Yeah,
Me?
you guys should talk.
Yeah, yeah,
Come
you.
on then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm game.
All right,
Right on.
guys. Peace.
All right.
All right.